Okay, everyone. Well, today I have a very, very special guest from Nottingham, England, now living in Dubai, with a professional record of 14 fights in MMA. Our guest today has won quite a few titles and has competed at the highest level of MMA all over the world, including India, Brazil, Bahrain, South Africa, Spain, Jordan, Sweden, and quite a few other places. And he has won quite a few titles, including the Fight UK Welterweight Championship, King of the Ring European Championship, the Ultimate Gladiators Grand Prix, and challenge for the world title as well. Currently signed with Brave Fighting Championship. Today is a very, very special guest, Mr. Carl Booth, the man they call the Bomber, the one and only. And just to give a quick mention that Carl is also a very, very seasoned personal trainer and coach as well, and has previously coached at the first UFC gym in the UK, currently coaching at the UFC gym in Dubai, and he's also a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu as well. So we have a lot to talk about today. Some very, very, very cool highlights of an illustrious career so far, with the best yet to come, I think, as well. So Carl, champ, the bomber, thank you very much
What?
for joining me today. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview, man. What an introduction. Wow.
Well, you've done a lot. You've done a lot. I mean, and I try and get it all in there. But yeah, it's. I mean, when I was reading through the highlights of your career, I was just thinking, wow. I mean, it's really something. So,
Yeah.
I
As you
try and do that justice.
and stuff, I was like, geez, I've done a lot.
Yeah, you've done a lot. And obviously, I appreciate you making time after work because obviously I know it's later in Dubai than
Yeah.
it is here. And I want to start with that because it's a
Hey,
good place to start. Obviously, you've taken the plunge and you moved to Dubai. You've left the UK. You've got an amazing
look,
coaching
let me just
tradition.
correct you. I'm in Abu Dhabi. I'm in the next city to Dubai.
Okay.
But my weekend's over in Dubai. So yeah, we're at the first ever UFC gym out in Abu Dhabi. It's in Mohammed bin Zayed City. Yeah, so we're over here. This is obviously where Fight Island is as well, in the same city. So this is the next step for the UFC brand out here in the UAE. I'm here
Incredible.
heading it with my fellow colleagues.
Amazing. Okay, Abu Dhabi, even better. I mean, what a place to be amongst the best of the best in the world. I want to talk about that with obviously taking the plunge to go out there, though, champ, because it's a big decision. And I just want to cover that just nice and simple from the point of view of two things, okay? First of all, what inspired you to, take that plunge, make that leap and move out there? And then secondly, just talk us through a little bit about, how you're finding it, just day to day, how your work's going at the gym, some highlights. I mean, I know on your IG, I've seen you meeting Prince Nassim. I've seen you playing golf out there doing some cool stuff. So, so let's talk about that. Let's start with what inspired you to take the leap of faith and leave the UK. Let's start there.
Okay, so first of all, I've been like, since I've turned pro as a fighter, I've been coming over to the Middle East. My pro debut was in Jordan, and I've come back, and it's such a total like change from the UK, the climate, temperature, the people, and the environment that I really loved it. I liked it, and I was like, okay. And then again, I've traveled to like Bahrain. Went to Saudi Arabia as well to watch a Brave event, which is pretty cool, and to go visit some friends. And then I came over to Dubai. I came over to Dubai initially just as a trip. And man, this place is something different. Like Dubai is crazy. Like you're driving through and your eyes just open up how big the skyscrapers are and how beautiful it is. There's so much things to do. So I'm lucky enough I get to spend my weekends there at the moment. And then I went to a show out in Abu Dhabi. It's called UAE Warriors. I went over there to visit, just to scope it out, see what the talent was like on the show and what everything was saying. One of my colleagues, Tolly Palesti, he works here as a head judge. And like, as soon as opportunities came, I've been over here like 6 times or something like that. But as soon as the opportunity came to have a job here and stay here, I was like, yeah, sign me up, baby. Pretty much.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I mean, yeah, it's got to be one of those moments where it's just like, man, where do I sign? You know, I mean,
Yeah,
100%. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing out there, because I know I mentioned the UFC gym and I sort of touched on it and everything like that. But obviously, I don't know everything you're doing. So, walk us through a little bit about, some of what you're working on at the moment with your coaching, with your training, obviously with your own sort of training that you're doing for yourself for your fights, but also your
yeah,
coaching with other people. Anything you'd like to say about that, about what your
yeah.
routine is looking like right now in 2021?
I reckon Abu Dhabi is probably like the jiu-jitsu capital of the world right now. It's like jiu-jitsu is a massive sport here. It's the curriculum in schools and it's in the army and the police force all do jiu-jitsu and everything. So and there's more black belts here than anywhere else, like any other city in this side of the world or even in England. It's ridiculous the amount of black belts are here. So for my own development as a career, I'm a striker mainly. But I've taken a love to jiu-jitsu as well. I'm really liking it, developing it myself. And as I'm getting older and stuff, it seems like the stand and bang style is it's gonna stay with me definitely. But I want to be able to stay smart and be able to train and compete for a long time. I still want to compete until like as long as I can. So the more ways I get to win, the more ways I get to I don't know, more street well, the better I am as an athlete, and the longer I'll be competing. So I'll be happy, man. So yeah, being here is like it's a bonus because my game's improving day to day. Like there's really good people to train with around. Or like I say, I'm working in the gym as well, which is come on, man. This is like not only my career as an athlete, but also like to make money day to day is a big bonus, especially in the martial arts industry. Like in the UK, it's difficult for us to make a full-time living off just martial arts, So
Yeah,
yeah, cool.
incredible. It's a really good insight into it, champ. And success breeds success as well. I mean, I'm a big believer in that. So,
Yeah,
being around successful people, it'll grow you to new levels. And that's a great insight as well. I want to talk a little bit more about the training regime of an elite MMA fighter such as yourself. Just hone
yeah,
in on that a little bit more. I know we've touched on it. I know you're doing the coaching and everything for other people, but in terms of yourself, obviously, jiu-jitsu capital of the world, so that's bound to come into it.
yeah.
But what do you do day to day? I mean, how many hours do you train? What's the situation with sparring, grappling? I don't really have one question. It's just anything you'd like to cover on, what your day to
Okay,
day is like in that
cool.
sense.
So like normally, I was training in the UK at Fourth Dimension Gym. I was going over there probably like 3 days a week. I had also my own coaches that used to come to me. Owen Comrie is my striking coach. So he was the striking coach to Paul Daly and many other UFC fighters. Like he's one of the top in the UK for striking. Um, Alex Mora was doing my strength conditioning, and I'm still working with him as well. So he's my strength conditioning coach, but he's just basically rather than being now, he's just written out plans and I'm following them throughout the week. And then now I'm here. Obviously, we get to train as well together as coaches. All the coaches are high level as well. We've got a few guys that are going to be competing on UAE Warriors. So there's a few active fighters that are just floating around and coming in to do some training with us and that, which is pretty cool. But I'm settling in at the moment, trying to find my feet, get everything going off. Like my house is just kind of a mess at the moment, living in my suitcase still. But like basically, as I start to get myself comfortable here and at home here, I'm sure my training's gonna sort itself out. I'm like actively looking for fights at the moment. Um, the training side of it's easy, man. Like I've been doing this stuff for so long. Do you know what I mean? I have like a few guys around me that can help, and I'll fly. That's it. That side of it's easy for me. The rest of it is basically making sure that the life outside of training is good. Do you know what I mean? As soon as this is settled and you're happy home, then the sports side of it is like I fly with that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Again, it's a good insight because people that know the sport know how it works will understand this, but it's also a great insight for people that don't, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
obviously the
yeah,
fans, they don't see some of this behind the scenes stuff, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
important to cover.
I've been doing sport for like a long time. It's been 11 years or something. I've been training,
Yeah,
so I don't need a lot for me to get going and to get to where I need to be. Do you know what I mean? I can do. I'm self-sufficient. So I had
yeah,
even training camps and stuff where it was just me and a few of my friends. Do you know what I mean? We go to the gym, especially during the Corona time, the quarantines in the UK. We just put mats in the living room. We had mats in the living room. We had the guys coming over. We was doing jiu-jitsu sessions. We didn't even have a proper wall to do like wrestling against, but we made do. Do you know what I mean? That was it.
yeah, yeah. Amazing, amazing. It shows you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
But
I want to talk about this as well with mindset though, because even though we've touched on the physical side of it, one of the things you sort of made reference to there, which I think is super cool, is the mindset. You know, whatever it takes. Like what you're just
yeah,
saying, if you want to get some friends together, you can't go to the gym. It doesn't stop you. Whatever it takes. I want to talk about mindset, and I want to talk about this from the point of view of maybe young fighters, or maybe people who, maybe not even fighters, but people who want to achieve in life and they want to do something. Obviously, you've been around the world, you've reached the incredible, you know, dizzy heights, and I know there's more to come, obviously, but so
yeah.
far there's been a lot as well. So I want to talk about what you consider to be some of the most important aspects of mindset. Maybe if there's like two or three things that you regard as essential to
Um,
succeed, or anything else. Basically, I mean that's the question.
yeah. Okay. The first thing is like not being afraid to dream big. Like, do you know when you start off, you have a dream. You say like, oh, I want to compete. I want to like, I don't know, get my next belt. I want to do this. Your dream is so small. You know what I mean? And like to say, oh, I just want to compete is the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like you're dreaming for the beginning. I like when I first started off, I was looking at guys that were in the UFC. I was looking at guys that were sufficient, like making money just by fighting. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be like, I don't want to just compete. I don't want to just be on the local circuit. Do you know what I mean? I want to be traveling the world. I want to see what this world has got to offer, and I want to like push myself for it. And yeah, so the first thing was that it was just dream big, and once you start achieving, there's no stopping. I've got future dreams now that are even bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like I got other things I want to achieve, and bro, some of them, if I was to talk about them, people look at me and they're like, nah, you never do that. But when I first started competing, fighting, I had no background in martial arts whatsoever. Like I used to hang around. I'm from the Meadows in Nottingham, so my area was just full of like it was gang crime and just I don't know, we just dossed around all day, not doing anything. And then one day I just come up and I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do fighting. I remember some of my friends were like, what? Like, nah, you're gonna get yourself hurt. Like, what you doing? Or, oh, you'll never stick at that. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, you don't get like support from people around you, doesn't mean that you can't do it. Just so someone else shoots down your dream. Do you know what I mean? For me, that gave me a little bit of motivation to say like, do you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna go do it anyway. So yeah, like
Amazing. And look where that's taken you, you know. And so far it's incredible. I mean, you proved them wrong and then some. And like I
yeah,
keep saying, you know, I know the best is yet to come, because I don't always say that, chap. That's just a feeling that I have. But we'll get there now in a minute, you know, for sure. Now another thing here is talking about fights themselves and stuff like that, or talking about that specifically. I love asking this question with champs because usually the answer is not what you expect, you know, in my experience. So far in your career, what has been your proudest moment of your career, and why has it been the proudest moment? That's the question. Now, just to give that context, you know, it can be a win, but it could be something else. It could be something like, you know, when you get your purple belt, or it could be a particular location you fought in, and whatever. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm just broadening, you know, the mindset. And but yeah, in your own words, champ, what's the proudest moment, and why is it your
so
proudest
what,
moment?
I've had a few proud moments. One of them was my pro debut.
Mhm.
um Told myself for a while I was gonna make my pro debut just before my 21st birthday, my 24th birthday. I started at 19. I was like a few years, and I was like, oh, by 24 I'll turn in pro. And I was actually injured before that, and I came off a bike. I fractured my hip, I damaged my leg, my knee. and I had no chance of doing it. And I got told basically that I wouldn't be able to kick properly. I wouldn't be able to compete again. I wouldn't be able to run all this stuff. And I worked really hard on getting myself fit and ready for that fight. And I managed to knock the guy out in like 30 something seconds. And that was a really proud moment for me, because I was just like, do you know what? Like, when I put my mind to it, whatever I want, I will achieve it. Other than that, it's been the people around me that are role models. They're like my friends, my training partners, my coaches. And when they told me, like, they're proud of me, because you don't really get a lot from some of them. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to blow smoke up your ass and like tell you every day you're amazing, because we're not. Like, some days we don't show up how we should show up. Some days we take for granted that we're actually working really hard, harder than everybody else, and this is normal for us. But then when some of my coaches and training partners say, like, they've really noticed a big difference in you and they're proud of what you're doing and stuff, that's really important to me. Do you know what I mean? Because the people who are close, they're the ones that matter. It's not about like you win a fight and then a million people freaking tell you congratulations on your Instagram. Like, I don't know them. It's good, but do you know what I mean? Like, if I lose a fight and I get my butt kicked, they're not there to tell me as well, like, oh, do you know what, chin up. It works two ways. But the guys who are around day to day, they are. Do you know what I mean? They're there no matter what. Like, if I've lost a fight, if I've been injured or whatever, they're the guys that come and pick up the pieces. Do you know what I mean? So when they're proud of me, I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Incredible. You know something, champ? I knew that would be a good answer, but that was a really, really good answer. That was a brilliant, brilliant insight into it. Because again, I'm very much targeting this to people that know the sport and people that don't, and I'm sort of toggling, both sides. So that answer really covers both bases. I love it, man. And that's not even a question. I just brilliant. All right, so let's talk a little bit about there's not loads more stuff now, anyways. A few more things, but let's talk a little bit about nutrition, because nutrition is always a very important one as well. And then we'll get into some more fight stuff now in a minute. But yeah, the nutritional side of things. I mean, what do you do with that? What are some of your thoughts on it? Are you one of those people that's more eating healthy and that's it, or are you sort of supplementing, or what are some of your anything you want to say?
I'm really lucky with my body type. Number one, like, I've got a fast metabolism, so I can afford to. I eat junk food sometimes and still get away with it. When I work hard, I burn it off. I've got coaching staff that look after that sort of stuff as well. Make sure that I'm not doing too much self-damage with the food. But yeah, like, I don't eat meat, which is one thing. I don't eat meat. I don't really like taking supplements and that. I don't really like taking proteins and stuff, because I think most of it's just sales. And then the stuff that I do take would be like stuff that I've researched myself, stuff that I've tried myself, and I'm sure that it's gonna make a difference. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna take something just because it's 50 pounds, it's got a shiny packet on it, and it says take this and you'll train harder. Like, no way. I want the research and the science behind it before I take. So yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Good advice. And guys, anyone watching this, listening to this, has great advice as well for any young athletes out there. Because, when people first get into it and they don't know what's what, it's good advice. It's solid. All right. So a couple more fight things then, and then we'll get to the future, and then that's it. But I want to sort of touch upon what's inspired you to keep going in tough times in your career as well, because you've reached some incredible heights. You've won these different titles I mentioned earlier. You've been in with some great people. I mean, even people like Leon Edwards and people like that as an amateur, and all this amazing stuff. But there have been times when it's not really gone very well. You've had a couple of submission losses that were quite nasty, and there was obviously one point with the two back-to-back losses. Well, actually, wasn't it a no contest and then two back-to-back decision and things like that. But you kept pushing, and you got some really big fights after that. So again, this is targeted at athletes in general, but anyone listening to this can gain from it. What inspired you to keep going? I mean, was it that same proving people wrong and all that stuff earlier, or was it something else?
There's that as well. It's proving people wrong, but then there's also like knowing your own potential. So like, sometimes like I've taken losses in my career, and it's not because the guy's better than me. It's because I've underprepared or I've done something wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think every time I've gone in there, game planned and been ready, I'll do my thing. Like most of these fights, I beat them guys on talent, but when I put it together as hard work and talent, I'm destroying these guys. So that's how I feel, man. Like, it's all about putting it all together, all the pieces of the puzzle. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I've had these moments where, like I said, the 2 back-to-back losses and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes off in, life. Like, stuff gets in the way outside, and when it comes to performing on the night, you've got other stuff on your mind. But I think the biggest thing is it's proving to myself. Do you know what I mean? I know my own potential. I know what I'm capable of, and I've been in there training with guys that are at a much higher level than me, and I know that they know by the time we're finished that I'm on their level. So yeah, I believe, why not continue? Why not keep trucking forward and try and get it, man? Like, don't let just a few bumps in the road stop me and knock me back. Forget that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant insight. I mean, it's, it just shows that never give up, never say die, and all that, and it highlights a lot of things there. And
I put on my body.
Yeah. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta have that belief in yourself on all types of levels. And I get it. And there's so many things you highlighted, in that statement about, trusting yourself, about who you train with, about all different stuff. And we'd be here all day, but there's some really, really good wisdom in there that I'm glad you mentioned. Now, the other thing is obviously flipping that one on its head, and the wins, because you've had some incredible wins as well through, quite a few different techniques. I mean, we've got obviously punches and everything, but elbow strikes and different submissions and Kimura wins, and rear naked chokes and all types of stuff. So in your own sort of estimation of your career so far, what's your favorite win? I mean, just in terms of the finish now, because I know you've had some that have gone the distance and stuff, but just in terms of the finish, and you got leg kick knockout as well. I missed that in a recent fight. But yeah, what's your favorite finish where you finished the guy and you just thought, you know what, that was something? Any that come to mind for that one?
Not really, man. Sometimes, do you know, like an early fight, like say, like if I've knocked the guy out early or something, sometimes come out a bit like, I got way more to offer, and I've like months for this. Do you know what I mean? So you come out of it a little bit stressed at yourself that the fight wasn't enough. But at the same time, you've game planned and it worked. So you came out there safe and healthy. So I'm happy with this. I don't know, bro. A win's a win. I'm happy with a win no matter what. As long as I've performed, and as long as I've like come out of it all right and not damaged, I'm happy.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. It's fair enough. Again, you never know the answer. And I know I sort of honed in on the win there more than the whole fight, but I just wondered if there's one. But yeah, it makes complete sense. It makes a lot of sense, the overall philosophy, the bigger picture. All right, then. So the last couple of things now, champ. All right, just the last couple of things. Obviously, you fought all over the world, and I want to give this a mention because you've been to some very, very cool places to compete. Now, this one again, it's not a really narrow question. Some of my questions are like that. It's quite broad. Any memories or stories, that come from your travels to some of these incredible, rich, diverse cultures and all that really stand out? I don't know, maybe there's not one favorite, maybe there is, I don't know, maybe there's more than one, but really just anything you'd like to say about the incredible locations that you've been to compete, in your own words on that one, champ.
I think myself, I'm a bit of an explorer, so it's very difficult to get me to stay in a hotel room. Last time we went to Bahrain, they could put us on lockdown, made sure that we couldn't leave the hotel room, which was like, for me, devastating. Hated it, but we got the work done. Every time I've gone away, I've managed to just get myself into some kind of, I don't know, cool moments. I went to South Africa. We went on safari, which was pretty cool. Got to see like a massive elephant. It was like to the males that roll around on their own, and it came right out of our truck, which was pretty cool. That like took my breath away a bit. But man, it would be hard to say one moment from each one. I don't know. A lot of it involves alcohol, which is
Yeah, okay. So there's only so much you can say about that here. That's cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, again, I mean, I get it. I feel you on that. But it shows again, and it keeps the dream alive for people again. And I know I keep going back to that, but again, up and comers watching this, obviously we'll have season pros watching this, but
yeah,
up and comers watching this, they also really think, if he can do it, I can do it too, type of thing. Because that's a big part of the dream is going around the world. It's something I speak to a lot of champs and they'll say things like, "Oh yeah, I would never come out of the UK or out of wherever they're from, until I started fighting, and then I went somewhere to compete, and and that
yeah.
sort of thing. It's
Same in my area, man. People didn't leave there, like unless they was talented at football. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're talented at football, or you made money on the streets, you never really left that area.
mm,
So for me to like go away and use martial arts as my tool to get out there, I'm so happy. And do you know what? The talent that's in my area, and places just like Meadows as well. There's a lot of places throughout the UK just like Meadows where it's full of youth and like energy, and the guys are just wasting their energy and just putting it into negative things. Like, man, just get yourself to the gym and work hard. You'll be able to make something of yourself. And even if it's not as an athlete, it changes your mindset. Do you know what I mean? This hard work ethic and the support that I've got from people around me. Like, go to the gym. There's guys that are much older than me, like role models and stuff. I never had that growing up. Man, just being around people that are motivated, successful, and hungry for better in their lives, it rubs off onto you, and you will make something out of yourself as well.
mm,
Definitely. So even if it's as a martial arts like champion, or if it's as, I don't know, in your own world, business, life, or being a better dad for your kids, or whatever it is, like, I think going to the gym and being around people that are motivated is definitely the key.
mm. It is 100%. Yeah, 100%. All right then, chaps. So the very last couple of things. Obviously, at the moment, I want to give you some mention. You've just started this brand new, early days with Zealous, and what you're doing with us and all that, and coaching and sort of developing yourself in that area. And I know it is very early days. So again, it's not really a narrow question, but anything you'd like to say about that, about your experiences so far
Yeah,
in
like,
the
I didn't really like taking supplements and stuff without knowing what I was taking, and I would never have like joined this Celis brand if I didn't understand what they was offering.
Mm,
My first little meetings, like Zoom calls and stuff with the guys, started talking to me about the products, and I knew some of the products already. And it was the stuff that I was interested in. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. I'm interested in this. And then the guys at the brand, yeah, everyone's cool. It's a good team. Like, they all motivate each other and stuff. So I'm excited to be a part of this new venture. And definitely, like, I'm here to help other people. Like, this is my job. I'm working in the gym to help people improve their own lives. So
mm.
working with Zealous, who are a company that help people improve their lives and health and stuff, I'm involved. I love it.
Incredible. Well, it's good to give that a mention. And the last thing, champ, is obviously future plans, because I know we've spent quite a while, recapping on some of the amazing highlights so far. But
Yeah.
obviously, and we've talked about right now as well. But let's look to the future just for a minute in terms of what you're aiming for next. Some of these big dreams you mentioned earlier. And I mean, obviously, you can disclose as much or as little as you want and as you're able to. But just,
Yeah.
yeah, just what's driving you now? What's motivating you now? What are you aiming for next, basically?
So I want to be making money, like, online, having business coming to me online. That's one of my goals. The next one is obviously working with the UFC brand. See how far this goes. You know what I mean? Like, it's growing over here. There are like 4 more gyms in the city. It'll be cool to see where this goes. Not only that, but with my fight career, this is the main thing for me. With my fight career, obviously, I'm 32 now, so I want to be like pushing myself as hard as I can do to get to the UFC. This has always been a goal of mine, to be fighting in the UFC. And now I'm living in Abu Dhabi, which is obviously the home of Fight Island. The chances are pretty high. I'm an active welterweight. I'm probably the hardest hitter of the welterweight category, and just like my chance to prove that. That's my next goal, is to blast as far as I can with Brave or any other shows that come up.
Mm.
I'm gonna knock out everybody that I come against, and then that's it. UFC, baby.
Yeah. Incredible, yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad we got to give that a mention. And you are the bomber, so giving the knockouts a mention is good, but everything else as well. And the last thing, this is not a question, but it's just if there's anything you want to say to your fans, supporters, sponsors, teammates, whoever, people watching this that have supported you now, in the past,
Yeah,
whatever. We talked about proving people wrong. Let's talk about the other side of it of the people that believe in you. You've sort of proved them right, if that makes
yeah,
sense. Anything you'd say to them?
yeah. Like I still get messages off my friends telling me they're proud of me and stuff. I really appreciate the support. I've had some of them was in sports halls with me, like watching me fight on my first few fights. And do you know what? It's been cool, man. And like I'm watching everybody else's lives like progress as well. And I'm proud of all my people, man. Like you know who you are, yeah, and I know what you're doing. I'm really proud of you guys, man. And I'm happy like to be an inspiration as well to some extent. And yeah, like guys who are supporting me on my social media and stuff, like keep liking and staying active, keep coming back to my stories, man. Like, yo, I appreciate the support. It all plays a part, and obviously, the more I can grow that side of my business, the rest of it can grow even more. So it all plays a part. Like, I'm happy for the support. Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. Yeah, I wanted to give them a mention because we all know there's people that blow with the wind and they come and go, but there's always, with every champ, there's some people that stick with them
Yeah,
through
yeah,
through. So give those a mention. And anyone that doesn't follow this man, follow him. Bomber Booth, Carl Bomber Booth, MMA, on Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. It helps
yeah.
him. Guys,
I,
give this man a follow,
every-
okay? Yeah, yeah, no worries. Well, champ, I mean, honestly, it's been incredible. I mean, it's been really, really good. I knew it would be good. Obviously, I appreciate you sort of squeezing it in because I know it's late there and everything. So thank you for that. But it's been good, man. I've enjoyed it and I hope you have as well.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Pure Blue Limitless, the purest phycocyanin on the planet. This is taking the sports industry by storm with multiple world champions, Olympians, and many other world-class athletes, all the way down to your regular gym goers and fitness enthusiasts, even amateur athletes, using this product to maximize their potential and move a step closer to the life of their dreams. This product works in a unique way on a cellular level. Unlike any other product on Earth, this is created with a patented photobioreactor technology that no one else in the world has access to, breaking down lactic acid and reconverting it into ADP. In other words, breaking the waste and reconverting it into fuel. You can train longer, harder, faster, and considerably outdo your competition. Whether you're just looking for more energy, whether you're a professional athlete or somewhere in between, this product is for you, boosting physical, mental, and emotional health through increased energy and amazing world-class anti-inflammatory effects that cannot be beaten. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel and there'll be more videos coming soon.